In the dry deserts of the American Southwest, long before the United States existed, the Pueblo people lived in carefully built villages of stone and adobe, surrounded by fields of corn, beans, and squash. For centuries, their lifestyle, religion, and traditions shaped a civilization deeply connected to the land. Everything changed in the late 1500s, when Spanish colonizers forced their way into the region. They claimed the land for Spain, demanded labor, seized crops, banned many traditional ceremonies, and imposed Catholicism. The Pueblo people were pressured to reject the spiritual practices that had guided them for generations. Those who resisted were punished, imprisoned, or worse. By the late 1600s, the suffering had become unbearable. Harsh droughts ruined farms, famine spread, Spanish demands increased. At the same time, violent raids by rival tribes, such as the Apache, added more pressure to Pueblo communities. Out of this crisis, a leader emerged, Pope, a respected religious figure from Okai Owinge Pueblo. Pope secretly traveled from village to village, forming an alliance among Pueblo groups that had not always agreed with one another. Under normal circumstances, unity on this level was almost impossible. But years of oppression had created a shared purpose: freedom. In one of the most coordinated uprisings in North American history, Pope instructed each Pueblo village to prepare for rebellion. Ropes tied with knots were passed from one settlement to the next, each knot representing a day counting down to the revolt. When the day arrived, warriors across the region rose at the same time. They surrounded Spanish settlements, cut off their communication routes, and drove the colonizers out of one Pueblo village after another. The uprising spread quickly. Within days, churches were taken, mission structures were overrun, and Spanish soldiers were forced to retreat. By August 1680, the Spanish were pushed all the way south to El Paso. For the first time in 80 years, the Pueblo people controlled their homeland again. After the victory, Pope encouraged a return to traditional life. Kachina dances resumed, sacred objects were uncovered, and old farming rituals returned. Communities that had lived under Spanish restrictions could once again practice their culture openly, but independence brought new challenges. Without Spanish trade, essential tools and goods became scarce. Years of drought weakened harvests. Old rivalries resurfaced between some Pueblo groups, making unity difficult to maintain. Pope's leadership also became controversial. Some felt he demanded too much authority over independent villages. Meanwhile, the Spanish waited in the south, watching the region weaken. For 12 years, the Pueblos struggled to balance freedom with survival. Their unity slowly faded, and by 1692, the Spanish returned, attempting to reclaim the territory. Although they re-established control, they never ruled the Pueblo people as harshly as before. The revolt left a permanent mark, a message that the indigenous people of the Southwest were willing to fight for their land, their culture, and their identity. Today, the Pueblo Revolt of 1680 stands as one of the most successful and impactful indigenous uprisings in North American history. A moment when a united people rose against oppression and reclaimed their world, even if only for a brief but powerful time.